Hello. Welcome to another Office Hours. Oh, it's a capsule. That's right, an Office Hours capsule. This is a small section of my Office Hours live stream that I do on Thursdays at 7 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific, on twitch.tv/theastropub and youtube.com/theastropublive. We've had a very long stream for this one because I had to start a little bit later than usual, and CIG just released a very long ISC, or SCL, Star Citizen Live. It was 3 hours long. We watched the entirety of it, even sped up, it took a long time. And now we're going to be looking at the Star Citizen month report for January 2025. Now, before I get started with this, it's important to understand that the monthly reports, I don't summarize. I read the whole thing from beginning to end. Summaries are fine. They do function, especially for people who don't have a lot of time. But if you really want to be informed with this project, you need to be able to read and consume as much as you can about what CIG is saying. That gives you a little bit better understanding of setting expectations for what's going to happen in the future, because CIG is often bad at setting expectations publicly. So I read the whole thing with my own commentary put in here and there to kind of give context to what has already been said in the past. So without that being said, if you're interested in any of this, I have an entire playlist that has all of this, which will be right up there. That has all of these stretching back a couple of months. So if you just want some time to hear about my stupid ideas or what CIG has been doing over the time, go ahead and check that out. And with that being said, let's get started with the Star Citizen PU monthly report for January 2025. And chat is lying to you. All right, AI content. The AI content team began the year prototyping an upcoming NPC that will utilize an amalgamation of several behavior types. Work was done on a proprietary tool that will allow the designers to generate a script of an in-game dialogue flow to ensure lines work as intended. This will allow much more efficiency in the writing and capturing of future characters. The team then began updating Stanton's landing zones with bespoke air traffic controllers that better represent the city. While there is still some required technical validation, these characters will start appearing soon. Yes! We got Elson back. Well, whoever the ArcCorp and Lorville and, you know, those versions of Elson is. Finally, the designers continued their ongoing review of Stanton, this time focusing on Grimhex to refactor the population to ensure it's using the correct behaviors and acting appropriately. AI features. In January, AI features' primary focus was split between bug fixes and creature behavior improvements. For example, the code for throwing grenades was updated to unify some of the code paths. This gives more considerate functionality between cover and open space launches. For human combat behavior, friendly fire checks were updated to not consider the large bounding boxes of vehicles as friendly, which could block firing. For example, or for creatures, the team focused on improving the Valakar's behavior. We're working hard to make sure the creature arrives in your hands in the best way possible. AI features team. The devs are currently expanding the group's system to be more dynamic and better support dynamically spawned entities. The first use case is the Kazi Grazer, as having a better understanding of the group they belong to will improve the look and behavior of the herd. AI features also continue to sync their work between projects to ensure that improvements made for Squadron 42 are available for use in the persistent universe as quickly as possible. AI Game Intelligence Development Team. Fun fact, by the way, CIG is hiring several AI programmers, and when I saw that, I was like, they're building AI? Like in the large language model or machine learning, a lot of the stuff that's popular for AI these days. And I actually looked at the job description, and it's this. It's NPC AI. It's GOF AI, as apparently the industry calls it. So, fun. So if you do see CIG has AI positions open, it's actually not to do with the 11 Labs partnership they've recently announced, or not announced, that's been announced by 11 Labs, or anything about LLMs or machine learnings. It's just this. The game intelligence development GDI team continued their work on StarScript, with January's goal of being able to implementation of the views feature. This was requested by the designers, who consider it a significant feature of the tool. Work involved creating the views object and views folder in Smart Outline, managing views functionalities, ordering and deleting views, and grouping graphs. It also involved presenting views and its header in the script graph and implementing back and forward functionality. Once complete, GDI, or GID, GDI, what about Nod? GID began implementing StarScript's new master graph design, which will be represented in the sectioned format rather than a global display as in Apollo. This means it will be viewed from the perception of a selected state. This visual design will be created by each hierarchical state. A visual improvement was also made automatic parenting groups. This improvement was also made to the automatic parenting groups for parallel and sector nodes, making the graph appear less crowded. QA are currently testing the tool to identify any issues following procedures. AI tech. The AI tech team began this year fixing bugs, improving features, and kicking off new tech. For the latter, began work on a new 3D pathing implementation that will give better results in tight spaces or areas that concave shapes. This will also be utilized by ship AI when traversing complex asteroids or space stations, and can also be used by NPCs when EVAing inside ships. The internal StarScript tool received multiple usability improvements for creating new behaviors and missions. AI Tech also finalized December's work on the chase and melee attack movement requests, which delivers a boost in both performance and visual fidelity compared to previous implementation. We know that some of that is the AI melee attacks by the Vanduul for Squadron. But there is a melee attack that is specifically set up for outlaws. There's an entire gang that's mentioned in the Squad 42 monthly report where they made specific versions of the AI that was melee based. So we may have melee fighters, swords, clubs, axes, that we'll be dealing with in the future, which means we may have more than just knives in the future. Who knows? The conversation system also received updates to how avoidance bubbles are computed so that NPCs don't disturb an ongoing conversation. For Alpha 4.0.1, fixes were made to the navigation and Boyd systems. Alongside this, planning was done for the work still required to fully synchronize AI components with server meshing authority, transition, and other features and systems planned for development this year. Here's a flow of the master graph. Animation. The gameplay animation team began this year working on the Copian Hound and various sizes of the Valakar. They also created facial animations for various PU characters and events, and worked alongside AI designers for more robust social AI behaviors. AI for the Spec Ops set, alongside two others, is currently underway to add more challenge to combat. Art characters. In January, the character team continued working on Starware Art Det. So someone asked, what is Starware Art Det? In my Discord recently. Almost certainly it's the art that is old, meaning the art that it goes into Starware, which is the clothing, which hasn't been updated to the new shaders or the new materials or anything like that. So we're talking about like clothing which probably dates back to like 2.0. There's a lot of old clothing in the game. They also modified the Duster armor, progressed with the Stealth armor, designed a new backpack, and developed additional creature variants for future patch releases. The concept art team explored ideas for various new items and are currently looking into paint schemes for existing armors. Community. The community team kicked off the year announcing the winners of the Gift That Keeps On Giving video contest. To showcase that it was coming up, they released an epic month ahead comlink, which previewed the events and activities planned for the rest of January and into February. The team also managed the first revamped Squadron 42 newsletter alongside launching a contest that offered a chance to win page sheet music from Squadron 42's score. They also supported the Fight for Pyro global event with miscellaneous publishing tasks and comprehensive information post. Lastly, but most importantly, the team carried on with evergreen tasks related to gathering, distributing feedback directly to development and is already deep in discussion on how they can shed more light on the details of any ongoing issues the community may be encountering. The team continued to support the Red Festival 2955, including a catch-all post, the Envelope of the Verse Kindness screenshot contest, a referral bonus, and an updated Arena Commander schedule. Additionally, they supported Atmo Esports' Daymar Rally 2955 and began finalizing plans for this year's StarCitizen World Tour alongside a variety of other event-related initiatives. We're eagerly looking forward to meeting you all across the globe, and we continue the StarCitizen World Tour in 2025. We welcome your input on future locations, whether you're interested in large gathering or a small meetup. We want to hear your suggestions. Check out the full details here. Core gameplay. Throughout January, the core gameplay teams investigated and improved many issues found during Alpha 4.0 live preview. Some of these proved difficult to reproduce and resolve, leading to a few false positive fixes. The teams are currently expanding their debugging tools and logging to better understand the future problems and ensure the correct solutions are applied. Core gameplay also began planning for the rest of the year, laying the groundwork for upcoming patches and planned features and content. Alongside this, technical documentation was created for fundamental improvements or rewrites to some of the core systems, including the transit and hangar flows. This involved the cross-team collaboration to ensure that improvements are not solely on the game side, but also support content setup and the latest engine features. Okay. We did hear last time from the engine team that specifically they were interested, or that they were working on finalizing Vulcan. So like Vulcan implementation is supposed to happen in the next major patch, which may be 4.1, maybe another name. We don't know how CIG is going to name their patches going forward beyond the 0.1, 0.2 sort of thing, which is where it's currently going on. Because 4.0 is a brand new patch, so we don't know if they're going to change their naming schedule. The economy. The economy team kicked off the year gathering feedback and data regarding the changes they implemented in Alpha 4.0. They then tweaked commodity prices and fixed several issues identified in Pyro. Mission design. The mission design spent time fixing bugs for Fight for Pyro, ensuring it was ready for release. Following this, they continued the ongoing mission refactor and shared an update on the status of some old missions on Spectrum. They also continued to create new, unannounced content that will improve the quality of all missions, including retroactively improving all existing missions. All right. Narrative. The narrative team began 2025 meeting with multiple disciplines to solidify new plans of delivering in-game narrative content. They also focused on increasing the number of characters that players will meet in the verse. Thank God. I've been saying for a long time that the thing that Star Citizen is now lacking in terms of narrative, because having two NPCs talk to each other was added in 4.0, which adds a lot of life to the verse. The next step, in my opinion, is having characters that people can connect with. If you can connect with the character, you will be more likely to care about that character and care about what they want you to do, if they're a mission giver or something else. Yeah. Through these efforts, their hope is that they will expand the storytelling opportunities that players will be able to experience and discover in upcoming patches. You don't need new features if you have intriguing stories. If there's a reason for people to log in, they're going to want to log in. In addition, the team fixed any remaining issues for Alpha 4.0.1 patch and generated mission text, location strings, and item records for the new content coming in upcoming releases. Online technology. In January, the Live Tools team released a new major feature to manage access and permissions in a more granular and versatile way. They're currently gathering feedback from some different users to discuss future improvements. Following the holiday break, the online services team continued to add various improvements to the ongoing mission system refactor, including global events and new features. Furthermore, the social and entity subscription services also received various improvements. In the last week of January, both teams met in the Montreal office to establish a plan for 2025-2026 roadmaps. This planning session resulted in more surprises that we will share with you in the upcoming months. Online technology team. R&D team. The R&D team began January investigating rare PU crashes inside the planet spawning code. A bug was found inside the serialization framework, causing a concurrency issue with an on-demand type of ID generation. A fix was made that is now live in the PU. Moreover, work started on prototyping a new method for large-scale soft terrain shadow generation. This will improve quality while reducing the fairly high cost of generating the needed shadow maps. As mentioned in October's report, work on rain volumes inspired a prototype for improved ground fog rendering. This will be cheaper to evaluate and render and improve the modeling aspect of ground fog and its lighting by self-shadowing and casting shadows, like rain volumes and clouds. Work began on transforming the prototype into a production code. And lastly, VFX. For Alpha 4.1, the VFX team worked on the MISC Fortune and elements for another vehicle, which will be released soon, probably the Super Hornet. The big push was also made to on previous location work that hadn't been ready for polish at the time of Alpha 4.0's release. All right. Very short monthly reports. For those of you who aren't used to these, the January reports and February reports typically are pretty small. It's usually around March when we start seeing pickups for more information comes out because the teams begin to work on what they've been planning on in the month of January. But the big pickups from here are a lot of fixing, a lot of bug fixing, which was supposedly the main focus. A lot of things with online technology. Narrative seems to be focusing more on characters and storytelling, which is good. Same with mission design. A lot of it is focusing on fixing what is currently there and improving it. Core gameplay is entirely fixes for 4.0, which is unusual. That's usually the team that talks a lot about features and new stuff that's coming out. So again, more focusing on that. Character art is updating, fixing art debt and fixing, adding, new things to dusters and stealth, and so other factors that code paths and stuff like that. So yeah, I might cut a little bit there, but yeah, it's a pretty short month, mostly focusing on improvements. So thank you for watching. Thank you. As always, I want to hear your thoughts down below on any of these. If you've been seeing CIG's own kind of discussions about moving more towards a stable, playable game over new features. If you see that in here, which is what I definitely see, let me know. Am I crazy in this idea? If you enjoy this, please join us live at twitch.tv/theastropub on Thursdays at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. Would love to have it coming down live. Make sure you hit that subscribe button if you did enjoy the content like this. We do this stuff every month. Hit the like button to make sure you can spread the word. It really does help tell YouTube that other people who, like you, enjoy Star Citizen content might enjoy this content and suggest them to watch it. And of course, hit the bell icon to be notified when these release, because sometimes YouTube is bad, even if you're subscribed to my channel, to tell you when something comes out. That way you'll know more ahead of time. Thank you for watching, and like I say every time, hope to see you someday in the black.